She sentenced them to prison, but never realized she'd sentenced herself to guilt. Before we dive into this heartbreaking story of justice, betrayal, and redemption, please take a second to subscribe to the Untold Struggles. Every click helps us share more stories that the world needs to hear. White right pointing backhand index, click here to subscribe to the channel. Now, let's begin. Rain poured down over Lincoln Heights, a quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio. Inside a modest two-story home, the Anderson family sat down for dinner, laughter echoing through the kitchen. Daniel Anderson, 41, a hardworking mechanic, smiled at his wife Marissa, a nurse on night shifts. Their 15-year-old daughter Kylie showed them her new art project, a portrait of her parents, smiling under a blue sky. Daniel, smiling. You really got your mom's eyes right, kiddo. You might actually be the first Anderson who makes it out of here rich. Marissa, laughs. Speak for yourself. I'm the one who's about to work a 12-hour shift. They laughed. It was a peaceful night, until the sirens broke it apart. At 8:47 p.m., two police cruisers screeched to a stop outside their home. Officers flooded the yard, flashlights cutting through the rain. Officer number 1, shouting, Daniel Anderson, step out of the house with your hands up. The family froze. Daniel opened the door, confused. Is this some kind of mistake? He asked, raising his hands. Within seconds, he was face down on the wet concrete, handcuffed. Marissa screamed, Kylie cried, and the rain poured harder. At the station, Daniel sat in a freezing interrogation room. A detective dropped a folder in front of him. Inside, blurry surveillance photos, credit card statements, and a police report. Detective Morris. You've been buying stolen car parts, Daniel. Fencing them through your auto shop. Daniel. What? I fix cars. I don't sell stolen ones. But the detective wasn't listening. A single fingerprint found on a stolen engine had been linked to Daniel. He didn't know that his shop had recently been broken into, and that the real thief had used his tools and space. Child protective custody. Across town, a man named Eli Turner, Daniel's old co-worker, smiled as he watched the news report. Eli had been the one behind the theft ring, but he'd carefully left Daniel's fingerprints behind, framing him to avoid his own arrest. Weeks later, the Andersons stood before Judge Miriam Cole, a woman known for her ruthless efficiency. She'd built a reputation as the judge who didn't play with criminals. The courtroom buzzed with reporters. The prosecution called Daniel a community disappointment. They called Marissa an accomplice. The Andersons' public defender barely spoke in their defense. Kylie sat in the back, watching her parents break down. Judge Cole, sternly, Mr. Anderson, Mrs. Anderson, given the evidence presented, this court finds you both guilty on all counts. Gasps filled the room. Daniel's face went pale. Marissa collapsed into tears. Daniel, voice shaking. You're making a mistake, Your Honor. Please, my daughter, she needs us. But Judge Cole only said one line. Actions have consequences. Sentence: 7 years in state prison. If this injustice has already broken your heart, you're not alone. Stories like Daniel and Marissa's happen every day, to families who did nothing wrong. Help us shed light on these untold stories. Subscribe right now to the Untold Struggles and never miss the truth the world tries to hide. White right pointing backhand index, click here to subscribe. Inside Ravenwood Correctional Facility, Daniel struggled to hold onto hope. He'd been assigned to the machine shop, a cruel irony for a man who loved fixing cars. Every night, he replayed the trial in his head. He remembered Judge Cole's cold eyes, her absolute certainty. In another part of the prison, Marissa kept a small notebook. Every night, she wrote letters to Kylie, though none ever got sent. I dreamt of you again, one read. You were free. I hope we will be too. Kylie was now in foster care, struggling in school. Her classmates whispered about her criminal parents. She started sneaking out, searching for answers, determined to prove her family's innocence. One night, she found something, a security video uploaded online by a local mechanics forum. It showed Eli Turner, in Daniel's shop, on the same night of the theft, wearing Daniel's gloves. Her heart raced. She had proof. Kylie took the video to attorney Rachel Hines, a young public interest lawyer known for helping the wrongly accused. Rachel reviewed the footage, stunned. Rachel, this could exonerate your parents, Kylie. But it won't be easy. That judge, she doesn't like overturning her rulings. They filed a motion for retrial, attaching the new evidence. But when the motion reached Judge Cole's desk, she dismissed it immediately. Her words: "Every convict claims innocence. I will not reopen a closed case." Rachel was furious. "This isn't a claim, Your Honor. This is proof." But Cole refused. And as she signed the denial, something strange caught her eye: the face of the man in the video. Eli Turner, her own nephew. Cole's hand trembled. She knew Eli had a history: petty theft, manipulation. She'd pulled strings for him before. But now, it seemed he'd used her name, her trust, to frame an innocent man. For the first time in years, the judge felt fear. That night, Judge Cole drove home in silence. Rain fell again, the same stormy night she'd sentenced the Andersons. She poured herself a drink, staring at the video replaying on her laptop. The truth was undeniable. The man she'd believed in, her own family, had destroyed another. Her conscience battled her pride. She picked up the phone and called Eli. Judge Cole, low voice: "What did you do, Eli?" Eli, nervous laugh: "Aunt Miriam, I don't know what you're talking about." Judge Cole: "Don't lie to me. You used Daniel Anderson's shop. You ruined his life." Eli: "Hey, I didn't mean for it to go that far, all right? You sentenced him, that's on you." The line went dead. Cole sat in silence. For the first time in her career, she broke down in tears. Months later, Judge Cole reopened the case. She ordered a full investigation, secretly, without alerting the press. When the truth came out, the entire courthouse shook. Eli was arrested. Daniel and Marissa were finally released. They walked out of the prison gates, weak but free. Reporters surrounded them, flashing cameras. And there, at the back of the crowd, stood Judge Cole, watching silently from her car. Tears rolled down her face. She wanted to apologize, but she couldn't bring herself to. The damage was done. She'd ruined their lives, and the guilt was now her own life sentence. 6 months later, the Andersons tried rebuilding their lives. Daniel's shop reopened, but business was slow. Marissa found part-time work. Kylie returned to school. Then, one morning, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside, a check, $250,000, enough to start over, and a note in neat handwriting. "You deserved justice long before I gave it to you. I will carry this guilt for the rest of my life. MC." Kylie showed it to her parents, confused. Daniel just looked at the initials, then out the window. "Daniel," softly. She finally understood. But as they held the letter, the news broke across the TV. Judge Miriam Cole had been found unconscious in her home. A suspected overdose. Her final words in her journal read: "Justice delayed is justice denied." Some stories don't end with a smile. They end with truth. If this story moved you, please, don't just scroll away. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles. Every voice matters. Every share helps someone feel seen. White right pointing backhand index, click here to subscribe.